I don't think that it was for the health of me or my baby, really. Hello, I am Alyssa, and today I'm going to share with you why I was induced with my firstborn daughter. I was 40 weeks pregnant. I had my 40-week appointment. At my 40-week appointment, my doctor said, okay, we're going to go ahead and schedule you for an induction at 41 weeks. Just in case you don't go into labor between now and then, you'll be induced at 41 weeks. Naturally, I asked why. Why should I be induced at 41 weeks? And she said that because the placenta can get old and be unhealthy for the baby if she stays in there for too long. I just said, okay. I knew that I had reasons for wanting to have a birth without an epidural, but I had not done any research or any thinking even about possibly being induced. So I really didn't have an opinion on the matter, and I just kind of said, oh, okay, you know, if my doctor says it's healthy for my daughter, then we'll be induced at 41 weeks if I don't go into labor. I was really hoping I would go into labor. And I don't know if you've ever been pregnant or reached 40 weeks of pregnancy, and while it is a blessing to have your baby stay in there for that long and to not be premature, it is quite uncomfortable. So I was ready for her to come out of me. So then I get a phone call a few days after my appointment, and they said that someone had gone into labor and that there was an opening for an induction on that Thursday instead of Friday. That would put me at 40 weeks, 6 days pregnant, and asked if I wanted to come in at 40 weeks, 6 days. And I was so uncomfortable and so ready to meet my baby. Again, I did not have any opinion or thought on whether or not it was good for me to be induced, if I should be induced. I just kind of went with what the doctor said. And it's probably good to have all of these big decisions made well before you are super, super pregnant and all you can think of is get this child out of me. So I said, okay, we'll come in December 1st, and I was induced that day. But looking back, what I realize is that, yes, things can get complicated after 41 weeks. The placenta can go bad. Things can get riskier if baby stays in there for too long. But I know now that they could have monitored me and made sure that the placenta was still healthy for the baby and that everything was okay, and I could have possibly stayed pregnant for a little while longer and gone into labor naturally instead of being induced with Pitocin. But there were so many people having babies at that time that I think they just wanted everyone scheduled. I think they were scheduling everybody that they could to try to keep it as organized as possible, because whenever I went to have my baby, I took the last room, the last maternity suite. I took the last one, and after that, anyone who had their babies at that hospital had to stay in the delivery room. There was no room in the inn. We took the last room. And so, and then I talked to my friend who worked at the hospital, and she said, it's crazy, you know, you don't think that there would be a baby season, but this is baby season. A lot of babies are born at this time of year. And so I realized that, and also my doctor was very rushed with my induction. She induced me with Pitocin at 8 and said she would be back around lunchtime to break my water, and she was back at 10 a.m. and which is fine. It sped things up. You know, it's fine that she broke my water earlier, but I definitely felt a little bit rushed, and I could sense that she was very rushed. She almost didn't get to my room to catch my baby as I was delivering her. She was delivering someone else's baby whenever I needed her in my room. And so all of these things made me realize I don't think that it was for the health of me or my baby, really, that we were induced. I think it was to schedule us because there was such a high number of women having babies that they just wanted everyone to be scheduled and organized. And so that kind of bothers me. And I get from their perspective that they have a lot of women to take care of and they want to make sure that they can take care of all of those women. But from my perspective, I could have labored without Pitocin, probably. I don't like being told half of the truth, you know. Yes, it's true that things could go wrong after 41 weeks, but they don't necessarily go wrong. And I could have been monitored to make sure that everything was still healthy up until I went into labor. And then if things were, you know, were not looking very well, then of course I would want to be induced. But I wish that I had been educated and have been told by my doctor that the placenta could go bad, but it wouldn't necessarily go bad at 41 weeks. There wouldn't necessarily be problems, you know, and that I would have had I wish that my doctor would have been more patient with me and been more willing to explain everything and all of my options, not just the ones that made it more convenient for her and for the hospital. So that is why I was induced, supposedly because the placenta could go bad after 41 weeks, but really, in all honesty, I think that it was because they wanted me scheduled, they wanted all the moms scheduled and having their babies in their timely fashion. So I think it was a more organizational choice. But things will be different this time around. I'm going to ask more questions. I'm going to do more research of my own. We'll see how it all pans out. But anyways, I hope that this was helpful or informational to you. And if you learned anything or if you have a story of your own, please share in the comments. See you soon. Thanks for watching.